Hello and welcome to yet another video here on the YouTube channel SCF Wargaming Studio. My name is Andreas Norwegian Viking and this is Ardacon News Weekly. I released a video I think last week, so we are back on a weekly schedule and I hope to provide you with videos all the way up to the tournament, which is roughly now less than 3 months away. What was that? So exciting times. I am honoured and privileged to reveal to you the Ardacon 2018 rules pack. So I know a few of you have waited for this rules pack for quite some time, although I have tried to release as much information as I had at the time through videos posted on the Ardacon website, through the links there, as well as on the Ardacon Facebook pages, to provide you with as much information as I could before the rules pack, the tournament pack, was released. Now, there have been some reasons to this, and reasons I can't really go into very much, but there has been delays, and the whole team for Ardacon is very sorry about this. We want to get these out originally in January, I think. But there was hold-ups and stuff like that, weighted new edition. but yeah, so the rules pack is now will now be available from tonight on the Ardacon Facebook page. There will, however, be delay on the to get it out on the web page because our web hoster Andrew Cox is on vacation. So, so you'll have a lot to do when you get home, Andrew, and I'm hoping you enjoy the Whiskey Festival. So, Ardacon is, well, you already know what Ardacon is, but the tournament pack is about 8 to 10 pages long, and it provides you with everything you need to know about the event, in addition to cool small stuff in it. So, I think we'll just break down the rules pack, and I'll do individual videos for some of the content I'll not divulge much attention to in this preliminary video. So look out for more videos regarding the tournament pack and events at Ardacon. So there has been no changes to the points values. So Chaos and Order is still 400 points and will be run on the Friday. I'll bullet point the entire schedule out a bit later. The Ardacon doubles is 700 points, so 350 points each. Still no change to that. And the Ardacon Grand Tournament and World Team Championship is 750 points per team member. Right. So let's get to the schedule first. So on the Thursday, the 16th of August, there is a 7 PM advance registration as people arrive at the hotel. So there will of course be merriment and old friends reunite, old friends meet again, I think the quote is, and this is roughly a extremely fantastic, like, merry situation. I've been to Ardacon twice. Well, all the times. This is the third one, but for every event I am attending in the GBHL, it's like coming home to your family. I not get too sentimental about it, but the community is so well knit, and even though I'm here in Norway, and apologies for sounds from outside, I have to keep the window open because the polar bears are melting. It is so damn hot in Norway at the moment. It is roughly 30 degrees centigrade, and as a Norwegian Viking, I'm not used to that hot climate, so yeah, I'm melting too. So I have to have both windows open in the studio. So yeah, so people come in, we get beers, shake hands with friends, hugs, everything is exchanged, and you can advance register for the event. On Friday, the 17th of August, there is an 8 PM advance registration which lasts for an hour, and then at 9 AM the convention suite opens, and you can start registering for Best Painted Warband in the open category, and we'll get to the painting competitions in a future video. At 9:45 there is a Chaos in Order briefing. So 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Chaos and Order will run. So that's a 2-hour event with a 15-minute briefing beforehand. And Chaos and Order again is, if I haven't said it enough, I'll say it again. This is a fantastic icebreaker event. You'll be randomly paired up with people from all across the world. There are 22 nations and above, I think. I think there are more than 22 nations attending Ardacon. With 228 people. I think there are 2 or 3 tickets left at the moment, but the total number will probably be 228 people, and yeah, it'll be a fantastic icebreaker. You'll meet people from all across the world. Some you will only have talked to on Facebook, in the Great British Hobbit League chats and stuff like that. Other people will be fun friends you met on previous events, but again, this is a fantastic icebreaker. I met so many wonderful people through Chaos and Odd events, and yeah, it is awesome. So from noon till 12:45 p.m. there is a lunch break, and during the lunch break you will be able to vote for the best painted warband in the open category. At 12:45 there is a Chaos and Order Awards and a doubles briefing. So at 1 p.m. To 3 p.m. there is the doubles game number 1. Then there is a half-an-hour break, so 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Doubles game number 2. From 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. there is a break, and then from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. the final doubles game number 3 will go ahead. Then there's the doubles reckoning for 15 minutes. So the TOs will go over every result and calculate the winner, and at 8:15 p.m. the doubles award will be held. Then there will be various convention activities, so this is obviously subject to change. But last year there was a seminar, there was a Q&A, there was the SPG magazine seminar as well, and there will be plenty to do at the convention hall before the bar taps close at 1 a.m. So that's the Friday. On Saturday, the 1st of August, the 18th of August. 9 a.m. the convention suite opens, and register for best painted single miniature in the open categories or best painted large miniature for the open categories. Well, should be and though, and best painted. 9:45 there's a grand tournament briefing, and at 10 a.m. the grand tournament cracks open with game number 1. There will be a 1-hour lunch break between noon and 1 p.m. with voting for best painted single miniature open and best painted large miniature open will go ahead. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. there is the grand tournament game number 2. There will be half an hour break between game number 2 and 3 and number 3 and 4. So you'll get a half an hour break, and that's an increase from last year because obviously some people felt that 50 minutes was too short a while to get food, drinks, catch up with people, and visit all the convention hall stalls. So you'll now get half an hour break between each game. And of course, if you finish before the 2-hour mark, of course you'll get more time. So of course game number 3 heads up at 3:30 p.m. Until 5:30. And then game number 4 will be between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And from 8 p.m. there will be convention activities, again subject to change. And at 1 a.m. the convention suite bar closes. On the Sunday we have a 9 a.m. convention suite open with register for best painted army in show. And at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. the grand tournament game number 5 will go ahead. There will be a 1-hour lunch break, and then we'll also be able to vote for best painted army in show. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. there's grand tournament game number 6. There will be half an hour break / the reckoning to produce the number 1 and number 2 player single player, not the teams, during the 6 games. And then there will be the championship round from 3:30 to 5:30, and that will of course be streamed, as well as if it's anything like last year, there will be game will be streamed on the big screen, as well as the game being able to host about a dozen or so spectators at a fair distance. So at 6 PM there will be the Grand Tournament Award ceremony, which will probably last for a while. There are loads of cool prizes to give out. There is of course the raffle, and I'm sure that James's thank you speech will last for an hour this year as well. And of course he'll have about 7 hours to do his thank you speech, because at 1 AM the convention suite bar will close, and people from all across the world will say their fond farewells. Some of us will probably stay for the Monday as well, so I know I stayed for about 4 PM the next day in the hotel bar, just chatting with people from all across the world, including Guernsey and the UK and Scotland and stuff like that. So yeah, it's awesome. So that's the tournament schedule. Of course, this will be available. Both the PDF document I hold in my hand, it will be available on the Facebook page tonight, as well as on the web page as soon as Andrew gets home from his holiday. So there is a bit about the registration, won't go into that at the moment, and a bit about pay on the day, because you can of course be a spectator, not taking part in the actual tournaments, but pay for access to the tournament hall. So of course that is an option, and I'll go and make a few videos about that. So Chaos and Order, of course, this is a DCHL fan-made supplement, which will be supplemented on the tables, and of course this is purely for fun. And I want to reiterate this: this is not a tournament game you bring cheese or really hardcore lists to. This is meant to be a pure icebreaker event, and yeah, you'll bring cool, fluffy stuff that'll have your 3 opponents will have a fantastic time before the the seriousness of the rest of the tournaments kick in. So and there will be of course rewards for bringing less competitive forces, and yeah, and of course Devon from DCHL have made a deck of cards, which is not now just printed. These are professionally made decks of cards, which you can of course also purchase at the event, which is fantastic, and I recommend everyone doing that, because this is a cool thing to do before a tournament in any case, and we have done that multiple times in Norway as well. Right, there is about so I should go on to the restrictions first for the tournaments. So the following restrictions are in place for all tournaments at Ardacon 2018. No 0-point golem, as per the Great British Hobbit League rules. All miniatures must be fully painted and based. This includes dismounts. Proxies are not permitted, but conversions are welcome. If you're unsure, please contact the tournament organizer. To do this, email the at ardaconsbg.com. All models must be armed according to how the miniatures are modelled with, i.e. Warriors Run are modelled with swords, throwing spears and axes, but not with flails, and cannot be converted as such. Each model must represent exactly what it is in your army list. If a model is armed with a spear, it must carry a spear. Exceptions to this exist when named heroes are not modelled with wargear, where there cannot be any confusion. Contact the tournament organizer if you're unsure. So, of course, again, if you're unsure about anything regarding your list or your models, do attach a picture to an email to at ardaconspg.com to get that approved well beforehand, because in the case that the miniature isn't approved, you'll have to probably change your lists, and we'll get to the deadline for the lists in a second. Right, so that's the easy restrictions. There are some more restrictions regarding each tournament, but we'll come to that. Then we'll have the pairings. So both Ardacon doubles and Grand Tournament will pair randomly in game 1, then use the Swiss ranking system to determine the further games. You will be able to record scores. There will be a record sheet in your welcome pack and swag bag. So fill in your record sheet, attach it, and give it to the scoring desk together with your opponents. Your name, result, score, and opponent must clearly be legible, and double check your scores. I've been in a situation at the Grand Tournament in Warhammer World where I handed in the wrong score, which will hand me first place in the tournament, and I ended up in 4th. My own mistake, because I didn't double check the scenario VPs, and didn't double check my opponent's tournament scores as well. So getting on this with the Ardacon doubles, already gone through the timetable. So there are 3 games over the Friday afternoon. You have 350 points per player, and that is 700 per team. Army selection is used the Choosing an Army guide on page 100 of the Hobbit and Unexpected Journey rules manual. Army lists must be submitted ahead of the event at ardaconspg.com no later than August 10th, so you still have about 2 months and change to go. 2 months and a week, yep. These will be checked, printed, stamped, and returned to you upon registration. Scenarios randomly selected from the General's accessory pack before each game by the TO. The table size will be 4 feet by 4 feet, and the scoring system will work as follows. 1 tournament point, that is the scoring track, so tournament points get first tiebreaker, and then, well, not tiebreaker, but tournament scores will be, point scores will be scored first, and then the VP difference will be the tiebreaker. Win is 30 tournament points. For a draw there's 10 tournament points. For a loss there's 0 tournament points. For a disqualification or conceding the game there will be -5 tournament points. More on this a bit later. And pardon. And a completed oath plus 5 tournament points. What could this be? More on that later. The doubles army selection, your 350 point force must be chosen from a single arm list, i.e. Rohan or Army of Thor must be also different to that of your partner. E.g. bring a force purely from Minas Tirith list, and your partner brings a force purely from the White Council army list. That's an example. Not everyone bring a Minas Tirith and White Council doubles list. You cannot mix and match or bring allies in your individual forces. Both forces must be either good or evil. The Army General. Each player's force has a designated leader. At the start of the game, both sets of players roll a dice to randomly determine which force leader is the Army General. For breaking, both your forces come together to constitute a combined army on the battlefield, and your break point and the rules for breaking are followed as if you were a single army. You break together, not individually. And oaths. You start the tournament with 3 oaths to complete. Select one in secret before the game and place face down, visible to both players before each game begins. See the oath section of the rules pack for more details. Complete the secret oath to award plus 5 tournament points. Right. And now for the Grand Tournament and World Team Championship restrictions. So these restrictions are in addition to the restrictions I read before we go through the doubles. The following rules are in place for the WTC. Teams consist of a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 9 players. Teams will adhere to the unified format detailed below. One member of the team is a designated team captain. The team captain is responsible for organising and submitting the team army list together and generally organising the team via www.ardaconspg.com. The team captain will be involved in any serious disciplinary procedures involving any member of the team. The WTC final ranking is determined by the combined best 4 placings from each team after 6 games. In the result of a tie, the 5th best placing will be taken into account. Players from the same team will avoid playing each other for the duration of the WTC. The exception for this is the championship round, where the top 2 players will play each other for the 1st and 2nd place in the grand tournament regardless of the team. Alright, so there was some talk of the unified format, so let's divulge what that means exactly, because there has been some confusion about this regarding last year's rules contra these year's rules. So, the unified format means that a named hero profile will only be allowed to feature in one army list in each team for the WTC. For example, if one player selects the Undying for the army list, then no other player in the team will be able to choose the Undying profile. This format means Saruman, for example, who has 2 good profiles and 1 evil profile, could feature each different profile across 3 players in the same team. Teams can choose 2 different profiles of the same hero. For example, a team could have Boromir of Gondor and Boromir, Captain of the White Tower, but not 2 Boromir of Gondor. Alright. Good and evil, and this is a new one. Teams must have an equal number of good and evil factions for the WTC, or no more than +1 either way for odd numbers. So if you are a 9-player team, you can have 5 and 4, so either 5 good or 5 evil, which the other one having the lesser number. Alright, so going through the Grand Tournament rules pack, we have already went through the itinerary early in the video. So number of games, 6. The championship round, the top 2 players will, after 6 games, will play a 7th game for the title of SPG World Champion and runner-up. The army size is 750 points, and the army selection is using the Choosing an Army guide on page 100 of the Hobbit and Unexpected Journey Rules Manual. Army list must be submitted ahead of the events via the website ardaconspg.com no later than August 10th. These will be checked, printed and stamped and returned to you upon registration. Scenarios randomly selected from the General's Accessory Pack before each game by the tournament organizer. Table size will be 4 by 4 feet. Again, scoring will be first tournament points, then VP difference for the tiebreaker. A win will garner 30 tournament points, draws 10 tournament points, loss 0 tournament points, then DQ or conceding -5 tournament points, and completing an oath +5 points, tournament points. And again, you will start the tournament with 6 oaths to complete. Select 1 in secret before each game and place face down, visible to both players before each game begins. See Oath Selection of Rules Pack for more detail. Completing a secret oath rewards +5 tournament points. You cannot use any oath for more than 1 game. Once selected, the oath becomes void for the rest of the tournament. Alright. On the next page we have a bit about the disciplinary procedure. We'll not go into that. Again, this is not to scare people at all, but there has to be a system in place if cheating, if that is blatant or completely by happenstance is seen. There will have to be a system in place for how this goes ahead. So, the disciplinary procedure is quite straightforward, and unless you're blatantly cheating or being very, very bad, you will have no, well, there will of course be consequences for that first game, but again, you will suffer no real loss to either your self-esteem or morale if it's a honest mistake and it goes by both players happy with the result. But the head referee will be on hand to check any disciplinary procedures, and of course the team captain will also be involved in this. Well, team captains I should say. So the championship round. Scenarios are selected at random from the General's Compendium pack at the start of each round. Each scenario can only be played once during the Grand Tournament. Once it has been randomly selected for a game, it's no longer a draw for the following games. The exception is for the 7th game, the Championship round, to determine the SPG World Championship of 2018. At this point, the final match will be selected at random from the original 12. There are 9 army categories, 9 members of the Fellowship, 9 maximum members of a team, and 9 Nazgul. So you can choose Kingdoms of Men, Free Peoples, Moria Nangmar, Mordor, Fallen Realms, Hobbit Good, any alliance of Hobbit Era Good, Hobbit Evil, any alliance of Hobbit Era Evil, Forces of Darkness, any evil alliance, Forces of Light, any good alliance. There will be prizes at Ardacon for Best in Category, allowing participants to battle for the title of Best Fallen Realms player, for example. However, there is also further incentives for teams to encourage the players to bring a different category each. Oaths award an additional +1 tournament points for teams with no duplicate category in the WTC, which means that a team can garner for each player in each round 36 tournament points. 36. If all members of a 9-man team, well no, sorry, each member of a team having no duplicate army lists, which is really cool. There's also a code of conduct, so punctuality, you are expected to be at your table at least 5 minutes after the table has been announced, or you will forfeit the game. In-game tracking, we ask that both players track might, will and fate points for both players, so that it's written down and both players agree. Disagreement, this can happen in tense competing affairs, but we ask you to remain civil. Any complaints of abuse or sportsmanship behaviour will trigger the disciplinary procedure and a ref might be assigned to watch your game. Referees, before consulting a referee on a query, please take out your rulebooks. This is the first thing the referees will ask you to do in any query. If agreement still not be found, the referee can be involved. Please make the query clear to the referee and then allow them to make the decision. Once the decision has been made, the player must accept the decision with grace. And finally, the clock, the massive clock. Though we require players to finish the turn they're on when time is called, please use some common sense and do not rush to start a new turn with seconds remaining. Likewise, if you feel your opponent is time wasting, please inform a referee. Alright. So before we go into the oaths, we have a final piece of points for the arm list formats. Arm list must be submitted via the website ardaconspg.com no later than August 10th, 2018. A deduction of 5 tournament points will be taken for submitting a list incorrectly or late for the relevant tournament. If competing within a team, it is the responsibility of the team captain to ensure all lists are submitted correctly and in time. Failure to do this will result in 5 tournament points being deducted for each player on the team for the World Team Championships. Please ensure your list use the required format on the Ardacon website. If you have any questions regarding this, please email support@ardaconspg.com. Alright, and then we come to the final point and most exciting point for me, which is the oaths. Both the Ardacon Doubles Tournament and the Grand Tournament WTC will use the system for oaths. An oath is a secret objective that must be selected before each game. Once you've chosen to use one of the available oaths, you may not use that oath again. you'll find the oaths available for the Ardacon Doubles and Grand Tournament WTC listed on your score sheet. To select an oath, write down the round number in the box next to the desired oath, then place the sheet face down where both players can see the sheets, but do not see which oath has been chosen. Successfully completing an oath rewards a +5 tournament point bonus on your tournament point score, e.g. if you may have lost the game but successfully completed your secret oath, therefore you will receive 0 + 5 tournament points on your score sheet. In the WTC, if each of your members has selected an army from a different army category, an oath is worth an additional +1 tournament point. So here are the Ardacon Doubles oaths. Divide and conquer. At the end of the game, one of the opposing forces have been completely wiped out or forced to flee. Next one, King Slayers. At the end of the game, you have killed both of the enemy force leaders. And lastly, Mighty Warlords. At the end of the game, both of your force leaders have killed an enemy hero in combat. So for the Grand Tournament oaths, no quarter given. At the end of the game, 75% or more of the animal models have been killed or fled. Cut the head of the snake. At the end of the game, you have killed all your enemy heroes or they have fled the battlefield. Precious lives. At the end of the game, you have lost no more than 25% of your models. Masters of Ambush. At the end of the game, you have 5 models or more in base contact with 2 separate pieces of terrain. Cautious Commanders. At the end of the game, none of your heroes have been wounded or used fate points. And lastly, Mighty Champion. At the end of the game, your general has killed the enemy general in combat. A hard one. Please have your oath confirmed by your opponent at the end of the game, which has been used, whether it has been achieved, then marked correctly and permanently. Alright. So, this got me extremely excited. Of course, I've been a part of the Ardacon process, and some of this I knew beforehand. Some of this was a complete surprise to me today when I record this. So yeah, I believe the oaths are a fantastic opportunity to get some good interaction in game and maybe play, of course, play the scenario, but also play the oaths. And extremely cool to see how this will factor in. So of course, oaths were used in the Stockport tournament fall last year, I believe, and was an astounding success. Of course, this is a different oath system, but this will be really fun, I believe. And it also, with 228 players, there need to be more than just garnering 30 BPs or TPs for the win. So of course, after 6 games, you'll have a lot of people on 6 wins. So of course there needs to be a second tiebreaker, and the oath system inspires that as well. So I think this is extremely cool. And I'll be back with more videos regarding separate things on Ardacon. I'll probably do a separate video on each tournament, as well as a separate video on the side events and stuff like that. So stay tuned on the channel, and yeah, let's get excitement up, let's get the lists up, and let's get rolling to Ardacon 2018, and I'll see you all there. So thank you so much for watching, and do remember to comment, like, share and subscribe, and do consider supporting STF on Patreon using the link in the description below. And as ever, support your hobby.